Growing up in Northern Ireland, I mean, we've had our troubles the last 30, 40 years, and, thankfully we sit here and it's more peaceful times, and people are getting along together. Growing up, having a Protestant dad and a Catholic mom in Northern Ireland, the things they went through together, they were challenging times in their courtship. But it's not about sides. There is no border really with the game of golf in Ireland. I grew up wanting to have the golf bag that said Ireland on the side of it, and I never thought about the border then. I had friends from north and south, and there was no religion. The religion was sport.
For most of us, the reach of sports gets capped at an activity that we spectate for entertainment or partake in for purposes of leisure, exercise, and socialization. However, for those lucky few that possess the skill and the work ethic, the bounds of sport do not stop there. For these select athletes, sport may be viewed as a vocation, causing them to become extra motivated to become professional athletes and live a life dedicated to sport. But first, what is a vocation? The term vocation is used in the modern context to designate a secular job or career. Historically, this goes against the Catholic definition, where a vocation was considered a divine call or election of a revelatory character. This standpoint aids in the explanation of why people often feel as though they are being pushed to pursue their vocation by an external force or higher power. Vocation from a Catholic sense was formerly used primarily in reference to religious occupations, although the Catholic Church has since expanded this term to include all occupations and areas of life. I believe that all vocations require careful consideration when it comes to how they will change us as a person. The most critical aspects of vocation are how it will affect an individual's identity, the sacrifices that will need to be made, and the feeling of fulfillment experienced by pursuing the vocation. Watson defines athletic identity as the extent to which one identifies with the athlete role. Athletes often have a high sense of athletic identity before becoming professionals, as they are already performing at a very high level and dedicating large amounts of time and energy into improving. However, according to Mitchell et al., athletes commonly elevate their sense of athletic identity even further after turning professional. This has been identified as a potential issue, as there are concerns with having overly high levels of athletic identity in athletes. Identifying too close with the athlete role can be detrimental to the athlete, as there are negative implications in mental health, self-worth, and feeling isolated in situations outside of the context of their sport. Jeff Cranford is the president of an international non-for-profit ministry with the focus of bringing golfers around the world together in Christ. He states that when you realize that golf isn't the most important thing in your life, it can free you up to play better. Unfortunately, following a vocation does not come without a number of associated costs. Smith states that, just as the cross was integral to the calling of Christ, a cross of some sort will intersect our lives and be integral to our vocation as well. Of course, the cross being talked about is not a literal cross, but rather a metaphor for the large number of sacrifices that must be made when pursuing a vocation. Smith goes further to describe how sacrifices can be intrinsic, that is, they apply to all professional golfers, or they can be extrinsic, those that are specific to one particular golfer. Golf-specific examples of intrinsic sacrifices include long and repetitive training days, very heavy travel schedules, fatigue, the risk of injury, and extreme amounts of pressure due to feeling the need to reprove themselves repeatedly.
We all have our different ways of dealing with pressure. Winning a major championship, for example, the traps that you can fall into after that is getting sucked in by the new whirlwind life. Trying to change yourself, more importantly, to prove to people that you are a major champion. I think that human instinct of trying to keep reproving yourself to people is something that, I've wrestled with a little bit the last 3 or 4 years. There is that want to keep getting better, of course, in the game of golf, and that will always be there. I think my desire to keep getting better is the same today as it was when I was 12 years old.
That was Graham McDowell describing the intrinsic sacrifices that come along with getting your first victory in a major. For an extrinsic example, we can look at Jordan Spieth's horrific collapse at the 2016 Masters.
The agony of defeat and the famous golfer reaching out to Jordan Spieth tonight. Jordan Spieth trying for his second Masters win in a row. Opening par. The 22-year-old known for his nerves of steel in the lead, but then the 12th hole. Right into Rays Creek. He swings again.
Oh my goodness.
His third shot at redemption.
Unbelievable. I'm losing count, Frank.
And when it was over, a quadruple bogey.
The damage was done, and Spieth would go on to finish tied for second. This is an extrinsic sacrifice because this is only the second time in the 80-year history of the tournament that the defending champion has lost after being in the lead following the third round. Nonetheless, as is tradition, Jordan presented Danny Willett, the new Masters champion, with the green jacket, despite knowing that he lost the jacket more so than Danny won the jacket.
It's just, yeah, it's tough. It's really tough. So yeah, just compounded mistakes, but just lack of discipline to hit it over that bunker, coming off of 2 bogeys, instead of recognizing that I'm still leading the Masters by a couple shots.
So when you have the perspective of some time, are you going to be pleased that you were right back in the thick of things one more time, your record here, a win and 2 runner-up finishes, or disappointed that you weren't able to get it across the finish line?
Pretty sure I'll be disappointed with that one. With that ability, I just think it was a very tough 30 minutes for me that hopefully I never experience again.
Okay, Jordan, thank you very much.
Lastly, I believe there are 2 sources an athlete draws upon to be driven to compete. Firstly, there is an internal component where a sense of wholeness is brought on by the act of competing in sport. This is likely due to an underlying true love of the game. Secondly, professional athletes commonly add meaning and purpose to their life through more unconventional methods that accommodate world of sport. This could take the form of being a role model to kids, providing entertainment to millions of fans, or using their fame to bring awareness to a specific cause. However, the feeling of fulfillment or completeness obtained via these avenues make it possible to commit too highly to sport and get distracted from the other areas of life that really matter, such as health and family. Rory McIlroy suggests that to maintain a healthy life, you need other things in your life that you get enjoyment from. Only getting fulfillment from lifting trophies and winning tournaments isn't real life. Before becoming the current #1 ranked golfer in the world, Jason Day knew he needed to increase his work ethic and recommit to his golf game if he wanted to achieve a higher level of success and ultimately become the world #1. He found a way to accomplish this, but did so in a manner that kept him grounded and made him a better person as a whole.
He kind of gave up at tournaments, and he'd get a bad attitude, and he'd throw clubs, and you'd hear him cussing on the golf course, and then I don't know, from those next couple years were just a huge learning experience for him, I think, because he was used to winning all the time, and then came out and it was hard.
There's 2 ways to go about a career like this. You can go, okay, there's too much pressure. You know, I'm on the border of doing something really good, really great right now. There's 2 ways of handling it. It's like, okay, I can just kind of jump on my horse and trot into the sunset and go on my merry way and be happy with where I'm at. And then there's the other way where you get up off your butt and you walk towards the fear, whether that's being #1 in the world, whether that's going places and you getting recognized everywhere you go.
It was never really about signing contracts, making money. When we sat down that first day, it was about being the best player in the world. And that was his goal. I think Jason sets the bar high. He and Cole game plan to be the best.
He is in the zone, and he's unreachable, untouchable, unreal.
He has worked harder than I have ever seen him. I mean, he's committed more in every part of his life. He deserves everything that he's getting. So it's really cool to see everything pay off that he's worked hard for.
Without golf, I wouldn't have the people I have in my life. I wouldn't have Colin, I wouldn't have Bud, I wouldn't have Ellie, I wouldn't have my son Dash. I get another one on the way. I wouldn't meet these people. And I owe it to not only to golf, but to them as well, to work as hard as I can.
On the opposite end of the spectrum is Ricky Fowler, who recently found himself single and has been funneling a large majority of his time, effort, and focus into improving his golf game. This turned out to be very beneficial to him, as he was selected as a captain's pick to represent Team USA at the Ryder Cup in 2016. But more importantly, he was able to do this because he is young and does not have many other major responsibilities or obligations that require his time and attention, such as a family or a wife. In conclusion, professional golf can be treated as a vocation in the same sense that almost all other vocations would be. When examining golf in this way, it is crucial to consider how best to keep levels of athletic identity in check, be aware of the many golf-related and unrelated sacrifices that will inevitably need to be made, and recognize the extent to which the game of golf adds purpose and meaning to the athlete's life. Ultimately, regardless of whether or not sport is our vocation, professional golfer Bubba Watson reminds us that the Lord couldn't care less whether I win or lose. What matters to him is how I play the game.
When I was a boy, I saw my daddy crying at the steering wheel, and oh, it made me feel so scared. And then there was joy from my religion, swimming in a choir of voices, and oh, I knew that I'd been spared, that I'd be saved some sunny day, safe from throwing my life away, that I'd be saved some sunny day from throwing my life away. Keep singing, whoa, keep singing, praise it to the heavens with my voice ringing. Keep singing, whoa, keep singing, clap to the beat till my hands stinging, and I'll be saved some sunny day from throwing my life